I trust you're all well. It's been a very, very warm day here in London, a very warm day across the whole of the UK. I know many of you will be out and about this evening, so some of you will watch it on catch up. However, it will be wonderful to have as many of you as possible tuned in, commenting, interacting with us, and generally enjoying this wonderful interview that we're about to do. So I am in the fortunate position now to be an international bestseller, as you well know, with Life Remixed. It's been just over a year and the book has done tremendously well. It's helped a lot of people. It's reached out to a lot of people, and we've built a fantastic community and a coaching client community. And every single one of the people that are involved in the coaching client community are supporting one another. So you may well remember Charlotte put out her children's book, Glumbags, which was loved by so many people and will continue to grow. So many other people are having success stories. And tonight's guest is someone who is really, really embracing everything that we have talked about in the Life from Its community, and is putting it into practice in a huge way. I'm massively, happy and grateful to Diana Hilton for finding me in the first place, which I'm sure we'll talk about, and also that she's such a shining example of helping me, allowing me to live my purpose. So many of you know, we've read, my story. Living my purpose is bringing joy, knowledge, inspire, and create. Those are words that just resonate with me and allow me to really bring my best. What that means for me is I can bring joy to people with music as a DJ and various other things, but coaching people is incredibly close to my heart. And Diana, I've been working with Diana for almost 18 months now, and she is an absolute superstar. She's grasped everything. She's gone with it. She's developed in front of my very eyes. It's been beautiful to have her as a coaching client, and also becoming, a great friend. Her and her amazing husband Pierre, fantastic people, and her daughter as well, Jess, and everyone else. We're all supporting her. And tonight's interview is really to talk about Diana and to understand exactly her journey and what it is that she would like to achieve with this new book that she's bringing out shortly. Here it is. It's called Both Sides of the Track by Diana Hilton. A journey through trauma and adversity towards forgiveness and freedom. It's an amazing book. She's done an incredible job to write it, to edit it, to create it. And I mean, the first draft that I read was probably about twice the size words-wise. She's brought it right down and done an incredible job to make it into this beautiful book that you can see in my hands. The launch date is the 21st of June, so next week, next Tuesday. We would love you to purchase it on Tuesday via Amazon, because that is going to contribute to Diana becoming an international bestseller in her categories. And that's what we want to champion her. We want to support her so that she becomes that international bestseller, and she can have that badge, as I have, for the rest of her life, the rest of my life, for me, right? So next week, obviously, please get yourself a copy. Emma's reading this one at the moment. You can see her bookmarking it. And she said to me the other day, it's a challenging read, and it is. It's a challenging read, particularly for someone like me who thinks he's had a bit of a tough time from time to time, and then you read Diana's book and you go like, whoa, this is next level stuff that she's been through, and she's here to tell us how to get to forgiveness and freedom, which is amazing. I have to also say as well, unfortunately, the internet is not the greatest where Diana is, and we've had some IT issues for the last hour and a half to try and get this to work. So we're going to do our best. It's going to be good. I can't wait for you to meet her. She's got a dodgy internet. We're hoping it's going to improve as the evening goes on. Let me bring her in. Hi, Diana.
Hi, Mark. Thanks. Yes, true. We've had a challenging hour and a half, but we're here, and hopefully it'll work.
It will work as long as we remember what we said about making sure that we don't talk over each other as much as possible. So it's so great to have you here. I'm so happy and grateful for you and what you've been, learning and growing and achieving. Let's talk first of all about both sides of the track. Let's go straight into both sides of the track. You know, give us a little overview. You know, what's it about? What's the purpose? You know.
So overall, my book, Both Sides of the Track, it's a powerful story, as you know, about really my experiences of overcoming significant trauma and adversity. It's about my, really, it's a memoir, essentially, that talks about my experiences of being on both sides of the system. So the system is the track, hence the title, the care system, should I say. Yeah, and it's really about my experiences as a child, where I was abandoned by my mum when I was 4, and I went into local authority care initially with my brother, and it's about my journey there. And obviously, I moved on a little bit, and we came out of care for a brief period when I was about 5.5, and that kind of went wrong, well, disastrously wrong with my dad. And then we went back into care when I was about 7. When I was 7. And at that point, the children's home that I was placed in, St Leonard's in Hornchurch, was, I mean, it's quite notorious now, but, it was run by essentially a paedophile ring. And I was subjected to quite horrific abuse and trauma there. And I talk about that then. And that is where that is a hard read. And I understand that and I appreciate that. But I had to reflect that. It was important to show, where I've come from. And then I move on to my turbulent adolescence, should I say, and becoming a young mum. I was pregnant at 17, barely 18 when I had my son. And things were just going really from bad to worse, I think. And obviously I had so much traumatic experiences. I was not making good choices for myself. But I picked myself up, and thankfully I was able to understand that it was important for me to make a change in my life. So I then decided that I was going to make some changes. I went to university and got my first degree and stuff, and life was moving on pretty well, and I was doing pretty well. I was making a lot of progress, the best progress that I'd made. I met my daughter's father, who was a good man at the time and stuff, and things were looking really good. And then there was a turning point. I mean, I say pretty good. I was still sort of struggling with the trauma, but I was just trying to make the best of what I had, and look after my children. And then I met a good friend that I'd been in care with, and I hadn't seen her. And I'm not going to tell the whole story, because actually that's quite a really interesting story of how we met. And then we decided to go to the police about the abuse, what had happened. And then we discovered that other people had been to the police, and sadly a young person had killed themselves as a result of the abuse, but he'd also made disclosures. And then so there was a police investigation, then quite a massive police investigation. And then we went to court, went to the Old Bailey, got justice of some sorts, I would say. Is it enough? Perhaps not. I mean, there'll be a lot of people who say no, it wasn't enough. For me, I felt that actually there was some justice there that I'd managed to achieve. He went to prison. The person that abused me went to prison. So then after that, I decided actually, I kind of got re-traumatized actually through going through that whole experience. And that's in the book, going through just going through the trial. That was an horrific experience, going back over everything and having to be questioned on it. And yeah, I mean, all of that's in there. But then, I picked myself up again. I'm a battler. Can't keep me down for long. And decided that I was going to, I mean, there's a story to how I became a social worker. But essentially, having moved from the position that I hated social services, was never going to be a social worker. My aim was to support children and work with children with my first degree in that capacity. But then I realised that I needed to, if I was going to actually really make a change in that area, then I needed to be on the other side. So that's the other side of the track. So then I did my master's in social work, which I was really proud of. And then I became a child protection social worker, which is what I have been for the last 17 years. And then I talk about all of my experiences there, because actually that's been challenging. I worked for a really challenging local authority, Haringey. Some people may know about it, some people may not. But, Haringey has its own traumatic story. And I got embroiled in that, not expecting that to happen. And that did have an impact really on my early sort of stages of my career. I moved on, and there's been lots of positives that have come out of me being a child protection social worker, and I am proud of that. Well, it really is. That's in essence an overview of my book. It does become a lot lighter and a lot happier, I would say. I think you've got to get to that bit. And also, then I kind of end it really with how, if I have been through all of this trauma and adversity, which I have, how did I actually come through it? How did I overcome it? How have I achieved personally, professionally, academically? And then I was reflecting. I think a lot of our coaching was around that. When I was writing the end of it, it was like, well, how did I? And I reflected on it. And it came to me really just, the 7 principles of what I have really been cultivating my whole life. I didn't realize how much so. And, in the last 18 months, even more significantly so. And I end it with that really. And it's a beautiful ending, in my opinion. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I do. And it really opens the door for the next sort of stages of my career and life and purpose.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, when you first came to me, I mean, obviously, the story itself, I've said already in the intro, but it was a difficult read. It is a difficult read to get through some of the experiences you've just spoken about. And particularly, for a very, very young child, a young girl. And obviously I know your brother obviously being affected by it as well, and the family, the challenges, your mother leaving when you were, but 4 years old, the resilience to be able to come through all of that and actually be, the incredible person you are today, is really something for us all to support and behold. And I like to, think from my own story that, you can go through the tough times, almost like the Shawshank Redemption. You can go through the tough times and you can come out the other side and you can start to create a good life, a great life that you enjoy. Yours is that, I don't know, on steroids almost. It's such a powerful thing that, because as a child, you don't expect to have to go through something like that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's really, really fair to say. And I think that's been the overriding reason for me, really. I mean, this book's been in my mind for a long time. It was never the right time. But I do feel that it's got a place in terms of helping other people who have been through maybe similar experiences. Don't have to go through the same. I mean, trauma is trauma at the end of the day. It's about how do you resolve it and how do you come through it with support, because I've been really candid in my book. I didn't do it without support. Thankfully I've had support, and it is important to get that, and I've been really clear about ways and how you can do that. But yeah, no, you're right, absolutely right. But overall, I hope that it's inspiring. I know it is a tough read in the beginning, but most people who've read it have said, my children, including my children, because it was a difficult read for them, being I'm their mum, and some of the stuff they didn't even realize had even happened, because I was really careful about protecting them. I didn't want them to know or feel some of the pain that I'd been through. So I'm just hoping that by being, open and honest and candid about it all, that actually some people will pick it up and it will help some people. It will educate some people, and some other people it will just be, hopefully, dare I say, interesting to just see what it's like to be on both sides of the track.
So many people, make that mistake, think they've got to do everything on their own. And what I like about, obviously myself and what I've done and what way I've achieved what I'm achieving, but also what you've achieved and continue to achieve as well, is the fact you realise that no successful person ever did it on their own. And actually having a sounding board, having someone to talk to, having someone to share ideas with, and look at growing is actually vital. And it's whether it's a coach like me, life and business coach, whether it's a mentor. We're going to come on to what you're going to be doing in the future and stuff as well. Whatever it is, it's vitally important that you have someone to connect with on a level that actually uplifts you. And yes, your book, yes, it starts out tough, as you would expect from what from the way you framed it there. But actually, by the end, it is a fantastically inspiring read. And we only have to look at you on the screen and listen to you now to see how inspirational the entire story is. And one of the things that when I put my book out, they said to me, on the release date, that's when the work begins. If you think about think about that, and I want you to think about the last 18 months and how much effort you've put into it, and yet Tuesday next week is when the work really begins, Diana. So let's ask you a couple more questions. how did you find me? How did you find, you know, Mark Wilkinson and Life Remixed? How did that happen?
Yeah, well, what happened was I mean, given that it's actually, I mean, as you said, I liked the way that you introduced that when you read it, it was an epic that nobody would want to chew through. So I did have to cut it down. But the bottom line is that I was about 18 chapters in and I was just getting a bit stuck. You know, it was really hard working full time. Right. I mean, I've got wonderful support in my husband, you know, particularly. I mean, without him, I wouldn't have been able to do it at all. But I was just stuck really in terms of I didn't feel like I was making any progress. And so being an avid believer in the law of attraction and the universe, you know, and I've spoke about my early sort of introduction to it actually in the book. About how I came across the law of attraction and how I started implementing it in my own life. So yeah, I reached that point, stuck really, about 18 months ago. And I said to myself, right, I think I need some outside help. So I am a believer in, like yourself, that, you know, you don't get to places on your own. Now, I've reached this point in my professional and personal life. I know this now. So I said, I'm going to get myself a coach. Well, no, sorry, I wasn't going to get a coach first of all. First of all, I thought, right, no, I'm going to go on the Tony Robbins Unleash Your Power weekend. And I'm a fan of Tony Robbins, and I'm still a fan of Tony Robbins, and I will be going, and we've said this many a time, I should have a platinum seat. When I'm going to have a platinum ticket this time when I do go. Perhaps we can go together.
Sure.
But yeah, but then I decided, so I had a little bit of money spare, thinking, right, okay, I'm going to invest in myself because it's important to invest in yourself. I believe in that as well. And then I decided, it just came to me really, is this going to be the best use of my money? Am I going to get the best value for it? Is it going to help me the most? And something said to me, no. Something said to me, you need one-to-one. You need a one-to-one coach, and that's going to be the best thing for you. So that's when I said to the universe, okay, help me, please send me the right person. I need somebody to help me move on with my book, because primarily that's what I wanted coaching for. I felt like everything else in my life pretty okay, and it still is. Thankfully, I'm grateful for that. But you know, this was a burning passion of mine, and I really needed to get it out, and it just was not moving fast enough, and I was feeling like I was getting nowhere. So then I said, right, to the universe. So then I did a bit of Googling around on the internet, and look, but 3 people come up, but you jumped out, and I'd have to go back and think, why did you jump out? But I just think, you know what, I'd think too hard on that. What I do know, you jumped out. You was on Bark at the time. And then I gave you a call. We had a discovery call, didn't we? And it was great. And I was really infused by that. And I knew that was it. I was going to go with you. Didn't even know where you were at. Didn't even know you was writing. Until we really had got into it, I didn't know you was writing your book. I didn't know. So then I realised actually whilst we have vastly different lives, I appreciate that, we've also got quite a lot in common. So then that was even more encouraging for me. And, you know, the whole story is, you know, I mean, what you've been amazing for is really being that sounding board, really being, you know, that person that, right, come on, you're going to do this. We'd have our coaching session and you'd give me something to go away with and I'd go and do it. And then I'd come back and then it would be like, you know, I even moved away because if you remember rightly, I was very, very fixed on, I'm going to a publisher. It's going to be published that way. I wasn't really prepared to really listen that much, was I? But, you know, but through our coaching, I've understood the benefits of it all. And lo and behold.
So how did you feel when the book first landed in your hands? How did you feel when it turned up?
You know what? I was really happy. I was really proud of just the fact that I managed to get this far and that I've done it. And I know I keep reading it myself, not reading the whole book because like I know the book inside out now. But you know, like I keep picking it out, picking out reading certain bits, and I'm like, I just love it. Like I love the fact that I was able to do it, and I just believe it's going to help people. I really do. So for holding it, I feel really happy. I feel really relieved. As you said quite rightly, though, I mean, and this is where I had no idea about all of this before I met you and started the coaching about, you know, what the level of what you has to go into it to, you know, market, get it out there. And as you said, this is just the start. But now I know that. And now I know that I'm on it. I'm on that journey and I love it and I'm happy. I'm enjoying the journey. So
how do you feel about the fact that obviously now that people are going to read it, because I know when my book first came out, it was kind of like I'd been so engrossed in writing it, and I wrote it and I edited it and I changed it, and Emma read it and then we changed it, and I did loads of things, and lots of people, there's lots of people involved in the process to get it to that final kind of piece. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, people are actually going to read this now.
Yeah, I feel pretty much like that. I mean, the good thing that I've had is I've had a lot of people read it, to be fair, in my circles and stuff. And, and I've had really good feedback. So that gives me confidence. But yes, absolutely. Do I feel nervous? I think that's a natural human feeling. And, time will tell how it's received by people that, don't know me and stuff, But yeah, I'm just going with the fact that I was, you know your destiny, you know your purpose. I know mine. I know that I didn't come through all of this to, as I said in the beginning, in the prologue, all the reasons why it took the time, and I was going to write under a pseudonym and all of that, but then I knew that I had to be brave, and I knew that I had to own it, and I had to be me. If I wrote it under, a pseudonym, it wouldn't have the same effect, because people, I had to be true, and I had to be honest, and I had to be open, because I've been honest and candid about some of the mistakes I've made in my early years, in my early adulthood, which, I had to come to terms with all of that. But, life is life, and, above and beyond it, I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful to be alive. I have a fantastic life now. So, I'm, whilst quietly nervous, letting it go.
And it's only going to improve from here, by being courageous and putting your story out. It takes a special kind of person to be that open and say here, because you want to help other people. And obviously, your entire life has been pretty much, on one side of the track, but then transferring across to the other side of the track and helping, child protection, and helping the vulnerable, because you were vulnerable, obviously, and now you've got into like helping the vulnerable. And I know that work will continue, which we'll talk about later. We obviously went into the e-colours that we look at. I'm a yellow red, you're a yellow blue. There you are. And obviously I was yellow blue, and I've only tweaked by a couple of percent, as many people know about me and my journey. But certainly you found that quite an interesting thing in the Life Remixed coaching, because it actually showed you a bit more about you and your personality, right?
It still is. This is a lifelong journey, this learning journey. And, my next sort of hope and desire is, yes, because absolutely it has helped, but I feel that I need to give it more attention, and I haven't been able to give it as much attention as I would like to. I've grasped it, and I believe in it, and and I'm wholeheartedly embracing it. But in order to really implement it going forward, I need to give it more attention and focus. So definitely post the 17th, leaving Haringey.
Let's talk about that in a moment. We're getting loads of comments coming up on the screen. People just saying how lovely you are, how great you are, how much they're enjoying it. The book is called Both Sides of the Track, up on Amazon. Please only buy it from next week, though, from next Tuesday. Emma's written a comment. I would like to put Emma just on the screen here. She says, congratulations on writing this book, Diana, and providing the coaching, Mark. Thank you, Emma. From the very first chapter, it's such a powerful and heart-wrenching story to read, not just because I know the author, but because I'm taking it off the screen so I can say it, because I want to wrap my arms around that 4-year-old little girl.
Oh,
yeah,
my daughter's
the same. Say again.
Oh, that's thank you, Emma.
Yes, that's absolutely
It's
lovely.
Still,
So this internet connection's dodgy, but we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep going. It's going to be all right. So as far as you're going to leave the job, you're going to leave the Just Over Broke. Obviously, I've coached you through the last sort of 15-18 months about developing this book idea, but there's been so much other stuff we've covered as well, in order that you could hand in your notice and really go for it. And you can see Aid Empowerment on the screen here, which is Diana's new consultancy, which she's now going to be setting up to continue the child protection work, but under her own steam, alongside all the other great things that she's got planned, speaking, coaching, helping other people, etc., etc. How did it feel to get into that position? Because 15 to 18 months ago, I know you wanted that, but I don't know if you really felt it was going to happen as quickly as it's happened.
Well, I mean, again, through coaching, I mean, if you remember, I was in a sort of difficult position because I was thinking, how am I going to, because whilst I haven't been, defamatory or negative about anyone, or only people that deserved it actually, but not defamatory. But uh, obviously working for a local authority, I don't think that I could have published this book and then go talking about stuff and things like that. It would have been a bit of a conflict of interest. So I was struggling, wasn't I? With that, a lot of our coaching sessions took that sort of period up. And I was thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to work? How am I going to publish my book? But through coaching, I've got the confidence to, because I did do independent social work about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, about 4 years ago. It didn't work out very well for whatever reasons. That doesn't really matter because weren't meant to. But again, I wasn't really confident about going down that route again, which would have been my only route out. But you gave me that confidence actually, and I'm to go. I've set it all up. With the wonderful support of Emma. With my website, I love my website. I feel like that wasn't the right time. What that time gave me was the foundation and experiences. So like, don't never fail, you just learn, right? So I'm going to use all of that, but I had to get the confidence really to take this giant step, which is a big step, to just go it alone again and start again. But I feel very confident about that. I'm not overconfident. I have some anxieties about it all, naturally. I'm a human being, but yeah, it definitely gave me the confidence, and it was definitely through talking about it, getting plans, getting ideas. Why can't you do it? I mean, you was very good at that. Well, why can't you do that? Or why don't you do this? Or why can't you do that? And then I'm thinking, well, no, why can't I do that? And it's through that. So yeah, brilliant. So I'm here now, ready to leave. 2 days. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, 2 days, and then Diana is free of a job, which we like to playfully call a just over broke, because that's where it will keep you for the rest of your life if you decide to stay in it. Whereas actually, if you have the confidence to go out, the courage to go out and actually make a decision, and I said to you earlier, Diana, people who make decisions go right to the top. The most decisive people go right to the top. And you are continually now making decisions where before perhaps you might not have been as decisive. Now you're making stronger and stronger decisions through coaching, support, the whole Life Remixed community, everybody, supporting you. You feel that weight of energy behind you. You were also one of the first that really clearly defined, along with Charlotte as well, actually, but you were one of the first who really defined a purpose for your life. And I was very, very impressed with that. Now, I don't say to people, you must choose 4 words to make them your purpose, but I found 4 words: joy, knowledge, inspire, create. I found those 4 words that just made me feel, I was like, yeah, okay, so as long as I do those 4 things, I'm living my life on purpose. And the more I explain that to, many people, the more they can take it on board. It doesn't have to be 4 words. It could be 20 words. It could be 1 word. It's up to anybody to decide that. But you grasped that very quickly and you went with your own one, which I was really impressed with.
Yeah, well, again, going back to that, I mean, when you was asking me about, well, what's your purpose? I thought I knew my purpose, and I still did know it. What I couldn't do was articulate it. So while I thought that I knew why I'm on the planet and I have a purpose, because we all got a purpose, everyone has a purpose, but you just got to be able to know be able to say it, and be able to then you can start living to that. So yeah, you perplexed me. Remember, I was like, I couldn't even say, because I actually thought I knew what my purpose was, and then I couldn't even say it. So then when I went away and I thought, well, what is it? And it wasn't that I was trying to emulate 4 words. I think it just became, through the coaching, it helps me think about, well, what do I do? What is it I do? What is it I do? How do I help people? What am I here to do? And I know intrinsically within my soul that I'm here to support, empower, motivate, and inspire. And those were the words that resonate with me and my life and everything, all about it. And it runs through everything that I do. And the purpose of that is really so that I help people, not just people who've been through trauma and adversity, anyone really, just to, work through problems, resolve difficulties, and make sustainable, positive changes in their lives, because we all can do it. So that's my purpose.
So I also remember Charlotte's one was courage, love, hope, and joy. And your 4 again, say them again clearly.
Support, empower, motivate, and inspire.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. And that's when you understand that that's your purpose and you can articulate it, then you can live to it. And you can start to feel really, really good about living your life on purpose. And what you become aware of as well, if you remember, you've quoted me a couple of times about knowing your purpose will help you, how to spend your time, help you define your life and how to spend your time. Thank you. In fact, I think you've even put it in here.
I had to know, because clearly, as I was writing the end of, when I became, started coaching with you, there was a lot of influence. So I thought, no, I'm going to quote Mark, because actually that's a great quote. And yeah, you quoted it. Yes, definitely. And that is a great quote, because once you do know, shall we get it?
Here it is. I found it. There it is. Look. It's on page.
Yep.
Page 314.
A purpose will ensure you feel motivated and help you decide how to spend your time. Well, yeah, and I explained why I even said that. And about coaching, really, because I do believe in coaching, and I do, I'm a practice educator myself. I support students to become social workers. So I have an element of that, and I've always been a real advocate of mentoring. I worked in a fantastic charity, which is in there, and I was a mentoring worker, and I worked with care leavers. So I've always understood the concept of it. I never really invested in myself in it though. So this is the difference. And like what you've said. Sorry, just one more thing. What you've said is that, and I'm adopting this myself, is that it doesn't stop here. I'm going to make sure that I get help and support in loads of different areas, because I think it's really important. If you don't invest in yourself, who is going to?
Well, there's a powerful message there. That's right. If you don't invest in yourself, if you don't love yourself, who's going to love you? If you don't invest in you, who's going to invest in you? It's a real positive thing to start with yourself, always, always, always. And so, yeah, to define that purpose, it's a great purpose, and it's something that you can live to now. What tends to happen is when you become more and more aware of it, and when new people come into coaching, they become aware of it, then they start to feel bad. And I'm like, so why are you feeling bad? Well, because I'm not in line with my purpose. And if you can get people to consciously think about that, well, I'm not living my purpose because I'm not bringing joy to other people. For me, I don't feel good if I'm not bringing joy to other people. So I bring myself back in, and I work on me in order to bring that joy to others. And it becomes a real motivator for you once you can define it. And I'm really grateful for that quote. I'm also grateful for you asking me to write the afterword to the book as well. So thank you for that. It was a special thing. I was really pleased to be able to do that and give that to you.
Thank you.
But let's go back slightly, because I think there's a real sort of burning question that must be asked. I talk to people about forgiveness, and I actually have had quite a few people online sort of, I don't want to say attack me, but I want to say people that are like, I've actually had people come online and say, well, I can't forgive my abuser, or people that abuse me. I can't forgive them. I'm going to hold on to that because, it's horrible and et cetera, et cetera. And trying to explain that on a Facebook post ends up being nigh on impossible, because you're not going to win. It's not going to happen that way. But forgiveness for you, what give us some kind of context on how you've managed to forgive people that essentially abused you in many different ways.
So again, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. I've been really clear about that. I mean, part of my 7 principles of surviving this, I don't mind saying them, it's acceptance, forgiveness, gratitude, hope, faith, determination, and self-development. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to forget. And then most importantly, if you don't learn to, and it's not about them, it's about you. It's about freeing yourself. Once you learn that you're forgiving, you're not necessarily saying that you forgive that person for hurting you in the way that they did, but you're letting go of it. And if you hold on to hate, resentment, all of that, all it does is chew you up, and it just makes you bitter. And I refuse to be that way. So you know what? I let that go. You know what? You have to live with that. I don't have to live with it. So I forgive. I don't forget. I don't mean to say that, you can just go on and do whatever, but you know what? I forgive. And you know, the other side of it is I even forgive myself, because you know I was not, you know, I made mistakes myself, and I was sitting there eating guilt ridden of guilt of things that I, you know, that had happened and stuff like that. And actually, I understood through, and again, I've been very clear about it. These things don't come. You don't have to do it on your own. It's quite hard to do it on your own. I've been fortunate. I had a very good therapist for a number of years who helped me come to all of this conclusion. So I haven't done all of this work by myself and become enlightened by myself. But what I did know is that if I didn't reach this state of acceptance, forgiveness, then you know what, you just live this perpetual kind of life of hating people, hating the world, being upset, being sad, and I'm not prepared to live like that. My life, I'm claiming my life for me, so I choose to forgive.
That's a brilliant description, and very, very, very powerful. Forgiveness means to let go of completely. It doesn't mean that what that other person did was okay. It means that you reclaim, you take responsibility for your life, you reclaim it, you own it. That person can just deal, you know, karma will deal with whatever, or the courts or whatever will deal with that individual, or whatever has happened there. But for you and anyone watching this, to forgive means to let go of completely, so that you can get back on with your life. I'm always talking to people about creation. You know, there's a universal law, which is create or disintegrate. And if you choose anger and hate or any of those negative emotions, you will sink down and disintegrate. Whereas actually, if you choose to forgive and let go of completely, be in total acceptance of yourself and everyone else, and then start to feel grateful, that's how you get into being creative. Now, we, as you well know, you know, alongside your book, Diana, alongside your book, we're also studying the Think and Grow Rich in our book club with all the coaching clients. There you go. You've got your copy right there. Those 7 major negative emotions that he talks about, that these millionaires talk about in this book, of fear, jealousy, hate, revenge, greed, superstition, anger. I mean, as a young child into adolescence, into being a young woman, you must have felt almost all of those at some point.
I was very angry. Yeah, I was very, very angry. And I was very, very, you know, and I wasn't going to let anyone hurt me. And I was very, very angry and very, I won't say bitter, but angry and hurt. But those emotions or feelings don't serve you well. They don't. They just keep you in a perpetual sort of wishing things are going to be better. And you know what? You can make a change. You have to be determined to do it. Again, that's one of, you know, you have to focus on this. You have to do the work. But if you do, you can survive it, which is what the whole point of the book is really. It's about how do you survive trauma and adversity, because you can, but you can't, you won't if you hang on to those feelings, because they'll just destroy you.
Absolutely, 100%. That's right. They are destructive. You know, negative emotions are destructive. Positive emotions are creative. Change is going to happen anyway. Self-development is a choice. And I think that's something that you've really grasped and gone with, you know, not just because of me, but because of everything that you're studying, all the great, you know, all these great people have shared all this information. And you know, the more people become aware of us sharing things like this, our stories to help others, the better. And that's part of my purpose. It's part of your purpose, which is absolutely amazing. So let's talk a little bit more about, you know, you. Let's talk a little bit more about you and where we're going, because obviously, you know, to actually write this book is an achievement in itself. It's a wonderful achievement to, you know, I've seen how hard you've worked. I mean, I've seen you fit everything in around a full-time job, a family. I've also seen you build stronger relationship with your father, for instance, which, you know, is just something that's happened even in the last 18 months. Now you're all working together tightly as a family, which is something that I coach people on, about generational wealth and how to help one another and everything else. But, you know, one of the things I do say to people is set a goal that's so big that it scares you. Now, I would say 18 months ago, for you to actually get this book published and get it out, that was quite a like, oh, you know, and yet here we are, 18 months later, you know, hats off, round of applause, you know, well done, we're cheering you on for more and more. set a goal so big that it scares you. What's that going to be?
Well, so that was where innate empowerment comes in, actually. I'm really, when I tried to go into the first sort of stages of independent social work before, I never had any of all of these ideas that I'm doing now. And so innate empowerment, I believe, will stand the test of time. I'm hoping, probably like Life Remixed, you're hoping that, it will, once you're not on this earth, the earthly plane, it will still be here to help people. But yeah, so that's my big goal now. So through innate empowerment, I'm going to become a motivational speaker, do life coaching, independent social work consultancy, and write more books. I've got 2 more books in the pipeline. So yeah, so there's lots of stuff going on really for an age. It's like I'm just really, really looking forward to just moving forward with it and seeing where it takes me. I want merchandise, like motivational merchandise, to come from that. So yeah, there's like I'm just really looking forward to it all. So
And
yeah,
what's the website address? What's the website address?
So it's innateempowerment.com.
Okay, and you can see that on the screen, people. If I'm pointing in the right direction over here. Anyway, where it is? It's on the screen. innateempowerment.com. And I mean, setting a big goal. What do you think from both sides of the track? Do you think it can become a Netflix or an Amazon Prime or a BBC?
Yes, I really, really do. Because interestingly, there's a young man who's a bit older than me now, so maybe we're still young. We'll call him that. Paul Connolly. One day, maybe he'll watch this, but bless him. I was in care with him, and he's written books and brilliant books, and and the film's been made. I haven't seen it. I'm really looking forward to it. There's an interesting story, and I wrote that in my book before I even got in touch with him recently. We've become in touch, and I'm really looking forward to meeting with him soon. But he really did protect me when we were in care. There was an incident between some other kids. Well, kids are much older than me, but they're really horrible and really abusive and terrorized me. He put a stop to it because he was very, very, and I didn't know half of his story until I read his own book. So the funny thing is, we lived in like quite isolated, even though we lived together in the children's home for these years. Nobody really knew what the other person was going, because that was how clever they were, really, about keeping us all separate. But he, being a bit older than me, seeing what was happening to me, stepped in, put a stop to a certain element of what was happening. I'm forever grateful to him for that. But yeah, going back to that, he's made a film. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So I believe that we're going to work together. We've already said we are going to work together. And I believe both sides of the track. We've got very different stories. We've got similar stories in terms of the care element and what happened in care. But then obviously our adult lives, even our early childhood lives, are different. So it's a very different story, but similar in a different way, if you know what I mean. But we're going to work together, and yeah, so I believe that my I don't necessarily see it as a film. I see it more as like either a gritty drama or maybe a Netflix box set, because there was I don't know if you ever saw The Maid on Netflix, and it was about domestic abuse. Everyone loved it and raved about it. I thought it was okay, but I still felt there was, I think if that could be made into a box set and everyone likes it, I think definitely both sides of the track is. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm headed.
Absolutely. And we've got a few people just, unfortunately, some of them can't, I haven't actually authorized Restream to give their names, but Facebook user says confidence, that word is coming through, and the root of that word is with faith. You are acting with so much faith, dear Diana. You will be rewarded for this, I know. And I would agree with that and say that when you actually put out a book and you're brave enough to put out a book and tell your story, you will be amazed. Life Remixed has reached thousands of people now. And I'm continually getting messages from people who are either watching my lives, watching my YouTube channel, reading the book, coming to events, getting involved. It's you'll be amazed. You will be amazed, with all the great things that we've put in place, like working with your credit rating, working with your family, understanding that you as a consultant you can work really well. You don't need to be a slave to the PAYE job as such if that's not your calling. If people want to do that, I don't judge. That's their route, certainly not my route. And you clearly have have done that. But you're going to be amazed with the amount of people that you're going to reach over the next 12 months and then the rest of your life. But the next 12 months, with the book is first coming out, you're going to be really, it's going to be special.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you were at the Life Remix Live event. With the two events we've done so far this year, you were at both of them. You joined me on the stage for the second one. How did you feel when you came and joined me on the stage?
I was a bit bumbling, I thought, but I enjoyed it. You know, I thought that, you know, I'm really grateful even for the support. You know, this is really great support. It's really great help. It's given me confidence to even, you know, speak live. I mean, remember when I was even trying to do I am a confident person, but getting in front of the screen or in front of people, I was getting really like, oh, you know, but I'm gaining day by day more and more confidence to do it, and it's because I have to be able to do it, and then I'm enjoying it now. So yeah, that was part of that. I really enjoyed it, and I got great feedback as well, so that was really good.
And of course, we will be doing Life Remix Live again on October the 8th, and there's talk about giving each section to clients such as yourself to do a 15-minute kind of intro as part of the whole event. And I think it's a really good idea. So you know, Emma's running with that, and I think Leslie might have come up with that idea as well. So I think that's a really positive thing. And of course, we've got 5 days to remix your life in a couple of weeks. You know, 27th of June, I'm starting that course for 8 till 9 p.m. each night. You've been on that a few times, actually. I'm sure you'll be there at some point during that.
I'm coming on it again, and the reason why I'm coming on again, there's 2 reasons. Actually, there's 3 reasons. One is actually, the more you do, repetition is mastery, the more it sinks in, and it gives you a focus, because you can have all these ideas and all of this and that, but if you haven't got focus, then you're sort of, they're just pie in the sky, really. So actually, what that's done is it gives me focus, and I really enjoy it. 2, just I really, you know, I just feel like I like being part of the community. I love being part of the community, and I feel that it gives me a lot. You know, it's quid pro quo. You know, it's not just me not just like you, like me getting a lot out. I feel like I'm giving. It's interactive. I just feel it's really good, and I just love it. And so for me, especially as I'm moving now forward into my new journey in terms of an aid and all of that, it's really important that, you know, I don't lose focus, so that I stay on the right track, which I'm sure I will. But it also really helps you to have that. So yeah, I'll join all the time, and I hope, you know, one day we're going to work together in a different way, and that's my hope as well. And we've spoke about that. So, you know, for me, it's win-win-win. So yeah,
Well, I think that's something that really is a good thing. Like, you know, all the coaching clients that come in, we've got 65 coaching clients now in total in Life Remix community. Everyone has got their own journey, their own thing going on. People are training for e-colors. You know, people are writing books and doing incredible things. We're investing in property now as a community together. You know, there's so many things that are all happening all at once, and it really is wonderful to see. I think the point you made there as well about focus is really important, because yellow-blue tendencies, as defined by e-colors, which I was, you know, I've slightly learned to be slightly more yellow-red with my entrepreneurial skills and be more decisive and take more direction. But certainly as a yellow-blue, we can lack focus from time to time, and actually getting us to focus. I remember the very first calls that you came onto with me, where you used the word babbling a little bit when you were on the Life Remix stage. You weren't at all. But what I would say is that is a tendency for yellow blues, or particularly top color yellows, is when we get under a bit of pressure, we can end up going and talking a lot, because it's kind of like what we do. I remember some of our early calls where I could barely get a word in edgeways at times, because you were so energy. And yet, you know, what I can safely say is that, you know, over the last 18 months is your personal growth, alongside putting this wonderful book together. You know, your personal growth is actually really incredible to behold, you know. And if you get a chance, probably go back and watch one of the early interviews that we did on my YouTube channel, and then watch this one. And see the difference. You feel a difference in your focus, and then you're taking action.
Oh, for sure, definitely. And that's what I took on board as well. Even things like, and I'm still working on the dot because I do believe the dot is important. Um, I think we have to find our own ways and stuff, don't we? I mean, that's my affirmation. That I know my affirmation, but I just like to read it every day, all day. But yeah, the dot you gave me that the strategies. It's strategies, isn't it? Because I have got the tendency. I understand that about myself. You know, to calm down. Or is it calm down, speed up? I noticed when I did do that, I got much more done. When I was on another one, overwhelm, focus stops overwhelm. Right. And I had it all. So all these little strategies are the things that got me to here because I need that, you know. So yeah, definitely.
And we never stop learning. We never stop
No.
learning. Yeah, as you say, repetition is mastery. We never stop learning. If we take our eye off the ball, then we might end up going a little bit backwards, or if not, we'll just procrastinate or just stay sort of on a level. You know, and the goal is to just to keep that upward trajectory, which is why setting those goals and be very, very specific. So over the next 12 months that we're working together, you know, as you know, client and coach for the time being, we want to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, the community is becoming so strong that we will all end up business partners or working together in some way, putting on events, doing all kinds of things, because these connections are based on positive emotions.
And I love the community, as you know, and everyone else in the community. We get a lot from each other, and you brought us all together. But you know, and it's so diverse, actually, as well. That's what I love about it as well. So many different people with different ideas, and I just want to be around inspiring people. I don't want to be around negativity. You know, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting everyone to be full of the joys of life and we're gonna. But you know, I like being around inspiring environments, people, everything. And the community is amazing. We get a lot from each other. We really do. We support each other a lot. And I think that's something you should be proud of. I'm sure you are. And it's something that we get a lot from.
I would say I'm really grateful for it. I think that having that gratitude for my own life and being alive and sharing my story and feeling good about life, and then being able to, you know, be in a position to bring everyone together. And you know, I used to do that with music, and now I do it with music, but I also do it with my words and the book, and obviously I've got 3 or 4 more books lined up, and we've actually got a book collaboration lined up with all the Life Remixed clients, working together on a book, which is going to be amazing. So watch out for that one. A couple more comments coming up. Jules is saying, don't you have an amazing smile, Diana? You're very uplifting and warm. So that's lovely. Thank you, Jules. And we go here. Let's have I've got a question here. I've got a question for you. It says, I would love to ask Diana, to what extent is overcoming your trauma connected to owning your story? I'm so inspired by what you said about writing this in your name and not a pseudonym. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Wow. That's a good question. I think if I'd have hid behind, and it wouldn't have been a bad thing, I don't necessarily think, but I think if I'd have hid behind a pseudonym, they would have had lots of complications, and then it wouldn't have really been real. It would have been like, oh, was I ashamed of myself? So actually, it's empowering. It's actually empowering. I am not ashamed of anything. You know, I didn't do anything. Anything for anyone I hurt in the world, it's been myself probably primarily, or you know, occasionally. Sorry if I have hurt anyone. They think she's lying. I'm not really. But you know, in the early days, you know, I was a young person and etc. etc. But if I had hid behind a pseudonym, I don't believe it would have the same impact as what it will do. It's empowering me. I feel free. You know, as hard as that story is for people to read, I feel like it's free. I'm free now. I'm free to do everything I want to do. You know, that's why I like the you know, like it's a journey through trauma and adversity towards forgiveness and freedom. I do actually feel really free of that past. You know, it happened. Yeah, it was sad. But you know what? I'm very grateful. As what you just said, I'm grateful for my life. I've got 2 beautiful children. I've got a wonderful grandson. I've got an amazing husband. I've got a great life. So yeah, you have to own it,
Yeah.
accept it, and
One of the things I would say about that is responsibility is the key to freedom. And when you write your own story, and you take responsibility, it's the key to your freedom. And I actually encourage people. I do a book writing course now, where I actually encourage people to write a story or write something down to get rid of subconscious emotions and actually put them down. That's Mark's life from 0 to 50. Done. You know, I don't even need to think about it anymore. Everyone can read it. Those stories are now done. They're in a book. They're finished. I'm not carrying them around with me anymore. And I'm sure you're feeling the same. Clearing that emotion and taking responsibility and standing up and saying, hey world, you know, this is me, and here it is, you know, what's all, if you like. So you know, we're going to come towards the end of this now, Diana, but I think it's amazing. You know, first of all, it's amazing that we've managed to get through it with the internet, as bad as it is. But the other thing I would say is the other thing I would say is obviously, you know, really, you know, how do you feel now you've reached, you know, as of next Tuesday, the 21st of June, when the book is available on Amazon? Please go and order it. Make sure it arrives, or make sure you order it that day so that Diana hits the charts. We all support. I mean, you've got 65 people in the Life Remixed community who are going to buy it straight away. You've got all of the people that are watching it tonight as well, I'm sure, who are going to buy it as of next week. You know, how do you really feel, you know?
I just feel really energized, actually, and I'm to be fair, let's go back a little bit. Absolutely exhausted. Let's be honest about it. Exhausted. I need to sleep for about 2 days because I've been burning the candle at both ends, trying to do that work, just everything. So, how do I feel? I'm tired, but I am really energized for the future, and really looking forward to, you know, both sides of the track being out there. You know, Pierre, you know, Pierre, my husband, he's just amazing. You know, really, he's so supportive, and, you know, he's just been my rock, really. Like, so I have little wobbly moments, like, oh, it always comes back with something, you know, sort yourself out, you know, to get on with it. So, yeah, I'm just really, really looking forward to it. And just, yeah, I'm as you said, I think we might look back in maybe 12 months, 2 years, and be like, oh, wow, well, that was, and then there'll be the rest of the journey. So, yeah, life is a journey. I love the journey. I'm grateful, to be honest.
And we absolutely love your energy and the fact that you've written a book that actually goes through all of this trauma, comes through, you know, forgiveness and freedom, and then teaches people, you know, some strategies at the end of it that they can start to apply in their own lives. I think is absolutely fantastic. What are you going to do? What are you going to do on Monday morning when you don't have to get up early?
No, well, that was a funny thing, really. It was like, oh, right, I don't have to, but I've decided I'm giving myself 2 days. 2 days. I'm giving myself Monday to have a rest and just do something for me, something really nice that I want to do for me, and just whatever. I don't know what that looks like at the minute. I'm just, because they're working me right up to the last minute. And then I've got a leaving do on Friday. I've got to have, you know, Top Colour Yellow loves a party. So I've got to have my leaving do and all of that. But yeah, I'm going to have a rest on Monday. I'm going to just take it quite simply, because I actually do have work in terms of an aid. I've actually already got assessments that I need to, I've already started them, to be fair. So, because I couldn't leave them, because once you get allocated, the clock is ticking, so to speak. There's a time scale and all of that. So I've started it, but I'm not going to, like, next week, I'm going to enjoy next week. This is what I decided. I'm going to just enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy the moment. I'm going to enjoy my launch. We've got my family coming around on the 21st. I was going to do a big party. I can't bother now. Just beyond that, gone over that. But you know, just celebrate with my husband, my brother, my dad, my kids and stuff. Have a little sort of launch party. And then I'll get back on with it on Wednesday, because I've got work to do.
Yeah.
Gonna, like...
the difference now is it's work that you're choosing, and you feel empowered. You literally feel empowered that you're choosing it, and also what you're going to be doing as of, you know, Monday, Tuesday, have a couple of days to yourself, rightly so, have a get together with the family. But as of Wednesday, you are consciously choosing to create your own life and your own business to order, which is ultimately how you think and you grow rich, right?
That's my journey.
That's amazing. Is there anything else we haven't covered that you'd like to share?
No, I think it's been brilliant. I think it's been lovely. You know what? Given the hour and a half before, And as you know, I was about to cry. Pierre said, "Stop it." You said, "Come on, you'll be all right." And Emma, bless her, in the background. I was like, "No, just forget it." But no, I'm glad. I feel like we've covered everything that we need. So I'm really, thank you for the opportunity. And no, I feel glad that, I've been able to express what it's about. I'm sure that, there's going to be lots of other moments now moving on. So it's good experience. So yeah, I should feel very happy. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously, in every crisis there is an opportunity, which obviously I've written about. And this particular crisis of the 90 minutes we spent trying to get you online before this particular call, the opportunity is
Going to get a new PC tomorrow.
go and get a new computer, Diana. I think that would be great advice.
I've been battling on with my laptop because I just didn't think I needed it, but I've decided I am going to invest. I'm going to take Pierre shopping.
You can do anything you want in this world. There is money everywhere. There is you never need to say I can't afford it. You've just got to work out how.
Great PC. You watch tomorrow. I'm gonna.
You just need to work out. You need to work out how I can afford it. You've afforded to publish this book and actually put yourself out there. Both sides of the track. It's available, Diana Hilton. It's available next week on Amazon on the 21st of June. We will all be buying it and supporting it. Emma will continue to read it, of course, and we will all leave you lovely Amazon reviews and let you know how touched we are and how powerful your story is and how it's going to help, thousands, literally thousands and thousands of people. It's something, like I said at the very intro, I'm truly grateful for your energy. For finding me. Thank you, universe. I think the last thing I probably want to say is I might say it for you. That your quote that I like to use a lot is, can you remember, or should I say it?
Got 10,000 times the value through coaching. Yeah, well, I did actually, and I believe that. When I started out, and I do believe. Don't say that lightly. I actually believe that. I could have spent the money going to what's Unleash the Power? 4 days, 3 days, something like that. Yeah, 4 days, could have done that. And, that would have been over and done with. Would have got a lot out of it, I'm sure. And I'm still going to do it. As I say, platinum ticket though this time, which is about £20,000, but I'll be able to afford it then. But yeah, no, I have had, and it's only gone on and on and on. And look where we are now, So yeah, I'll go. Do you want to say 20,000 times?
20,000 times the value that I paid. So honestly, Diana, that's a very, very powerful thing to say. I am most grateful for you saying that. I know that you feel that. You don't say anything lightly. You say things, from your heart, and you say them with an open heart. And the open mind that you've created through learning, through trauma and adversity, to actually become this woman now. And the journey begins now, right? You and I and everyone watching this, if you're 50 or 40 or 60, you might be here for another 40, 50, 60 years. And so, decide on your purpose, bring great energy, move on with your life, create great stuff. And Diana's book, and of course, Life Remixed as well. These are this is the evidence of a life, well lived, learned from, and then shared with other people. And Diana, we're all applauding you. We all love your journey. Both sides of the track. Please buy a copy next Tuesday from Amazon. Read it, and then of course reach out to us in the Life Remixed community and to Diana and let her know your feeling and how it works. Diana, please stay where you are. Please stay where you are. Emma just says first published author interview of many, many more to come. And we've got loads of other messages coming in. This one here says, Wonder Woman, you smashed it, darling. There you go. Another one there says, love you, Diana. There you go. That's all beautiful stuff. And do jump onto all the socials and look at all the comments that people have been making. I've only thrown a few up onto the screen there, Diana, but the love that's outpouring is wonderful. So please stay where you are. I'm going to say thank you to everyone for tuning in. Another Life Remixed success story, another inspirational talk, and wow, what a woman, what a journey, and we all support you 100% Diana. So we wish you all the very best. Thank you for being here tonight as well.